All right, folks, welcome. In this episode, I thought what I would do is go over my prep journey so far. So I've been asked a few questions. I've got those at the bottom, and then I've got my sort of prep structure written down, so I can go through it with you, break it down entirely from the second I wake up till the second I go to sleep, and then see what you think. And if you've got any questions at the end, pop them in the comments. I can get back to you. If there's anything else you want to know, want to see, do the same thing, and I can make more of these and give you the answers that you want and stuff. So let's get into it. So this is Prep 2024. So I've got my first ever bodybuilding show towards the end of the year. So there's about just over 6 weeks, just under 7 weeks left of this prep. It's going very, very well. It's been a great experience so far, but I don't want to get ahead of myself with the ins and the outs. Let's start from 5 a.m. So the first thing I do, the second I open my eyes at 5 a.m. is I take some L-glutamine, some vitamin A, vitamin C, some greens powder, some apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of sea salt, fish oils, zinc, magnesium, and then I drink that down with 2 liters of water. Delicious. It isn't. It tastes like absolute poison. But after you've had it, you do feel this rush of just like immense well-being because you've taken something, or a whole bunch of things there, especially the greens powder and the apple cider vinegar, that are really good for you. But it really does taste like poison. Then after that, I'll do 1 hour of high-intense cardio, which although I have had water, it is just water. So it's still fasted. And then I'll have my first meal, which is 75 grams of oats, 20 grams of organic peanut butter, 5 whole eggs, 3 rashers of turkey bacon, and 100 grams of pineapple. Then the next meal is 300 grams of chicken breast, 75 grams of rice, raw weight, 100 grams of potato, some green veg, avocado, and extra virgin olive oil. The next meal is exactly the same. And then the meal after that is either 300 grams of steak and 200 grams of potato, or 300 grams of white fish and green beans. Then it's 250 grams of no-fat yogurt, 100 grams of blueberries, 1 scoop of whey, and 30 grams of organic almond butter. Then, depending on the day, depends on what time I'll train. But my intra drink now is 2 servings of intra-ammo, 1 scoop of Hydromax by Strong, which is fantastic, half a teaspoon of sea salt, and another 2 liters of water. Both of those products are fantastic. The intra-ammo is fantastic. The Hydromax is fantastic. Post-workout meal is 2 scoops of whey protein, 100 grams of Rice Krispies, because it literally is just puffed rice. No, you shouldn't really have Frosties or something like that. Rice Krispies is just puffed rice. There's no milk, obviously, so the whey protein is poured over the Rice Krispies. And 100 grams of pineapple. Then in the evening, we've got another 30 minutes of cardio now, which was introduced this week. And that's already made a difference. We're not at the end of the week or anything yet. So that's an hour and a half cardio a day now. Another 2 liters of water. And then after every training session in the gym, I now have to do 5 rounds of posing practice. One thing you can never, ever, ever do enough of, if you want to compete in bodybuilding, take it seriously, is your posing practice. Some people say, I'm a member of a few forums and WhatsApp groups and all sorts, and people pop in questions. When in prep should I start practicing posing? My answer is always the same. At the start of your off season, you should practice posing constantly all the time, as early as you can, as hard as you can, as often as you can. And then posing practice at home as well on rest days. So 7 days a week. Abs now 3 times a week. They're just done at home. Don't need any equipment for those, for me personally. And then every night I also do stretching to help with mobility, to help with performing exercises in the gym, and also to help with getting better shapes out of the posing. So like with the side chest, for example, being able to open up so much wider the whole kind of top half of the body. Then what I also do, I've always been a big believer in this, so is visualization. Some people say it's like meditation. I suppose it depends how you practice those two things, because for me they're totally different. I feel like meditation is almost separating yourself from things, and visualization, the way I do it, is immersing yourself in outcomes, scenarios, situations, and how you want them or how they're going to play out for you, sort of thing. Something that's not in the diet that I haven't wrote down at the end is also black coffees. I do have quite a lot of black coffees. I've always been a drinker of black coffee, to be fair, though, but yeah, in prep I find it's quite just an excellent aid, really. Training. Also, along the black coffee just reminded me, so I also take in the morning 3 different types of fat burners as well, and 1 hardener. Now, if you want explicit details about those, I am more than happy to go into them, but you'll have to find me on Instagram and then join the subscription service, which isn't live yet, so you've not missed anything, but I can talk freely and openly about all kinds of stuff and interact with you guys. You can ask questions if you want more details, things that you can't on here. So, and then the rest of the supplements as well. So, but yeah, 3 fat burners in the morning as well. The black coffee just reminded me because energy is a big thing that they give you, right? The fat burners. So, and then training. So training is the same as the off season, really, because I'm a big believer in what built it keeps it. There are some added isolation exercises in there, and I suppose the biggest change from off-season training to pre-contest training, for me at least, is it's tailored very specific around lagging areas and body parts. They get absolutely obliterated first in the session now, and then the areas that sort of do well anyway, they're now hit after those body parts. And week on week since prep started, that has been working really well. One of the things we wanted to bring out was the side delt, and if you've seen any of the side chest poses, I might put a picture in picture right now. That has come on so much in a few weeks alone, from doing the style of training. So that's been fantastic. Okay, a few questions. Mentally and physically, how does it feel? So that's a really good question, I think. So depending on how you do prep, depends on how much it will affect you, right? So I know there are people out there who do prep and they have like cheat meals once a week and stuff like that, and the preps are very short, and that, that's their way of doing it and stuff. So but I think it affects you different how you do it. So for example, my prep, everything's like bland, there's no cheat meals or anything like that, or refeeds, but that's the way I like it. That works so well for me. I'm very happy to do that. Because for me, that's the definition of a prep. So mentally, how does it feel? So in some areas, the mental and physical aspect join. So you're tired, right? You don't have anywhere near the carbs that you're having. So for example, where I was probably on nearly 1,000 grams of carbs at the end of the off season, now I'm down to a couple of hundred at most. That's a massive drop. With the training being still so intense, and the addition of cardio, and then life as well around you, work, family, all that kind of stuff, it's super exhausting in so many different ways. You're tired in ways that a good sleep won't fix, but you're also tired in a way that a good sleep should fix. So there are loads of different types of factors that affect you that way. Overall, I'm very positive about it, because I always remind myself of the fact that I'm choosing to do this. So sometimes I see like people in these forums and stuff complaining every day, like they'll post an update 7 days a week and it's always complaining. I honestly don't think those people should continue, because they don't seem to find 1% worth of happiness in this endeavor. Everybody should have a moan now and again, for sure. But I chose to do this. So before I started doing it, I sort of knew what it was going to be about for me personally. So I was ready. I accepted the challenges and the responsibility of prep and stuff. So as hard as it is, I enjoy it. I see it as a big self-challenge as well. like when I say my food is bland and there's no sauce and no refeeds, that's not like I'm so hardcore and other people aren't. I don't really think about that. I just think about me and how I can challenge myself more and more and more each day. That's the way I've always been in work, in different jobs and stuff like that. Never what anybody else is doing. It's got nothing to do with me. It's always what I did yesterday. How can I beat that today? How can I achieve a little bit more than I did yesterday? How can I push a little bit harder than I did yesterday? That's the exact same mindset I brought into prep. And it works really well for me. It suits me to a T. Physically is a crazy one. So you don't have the energy. Sometimes you look at yourself and you think you're flat. You're losing a lot of weight, but you shouldn't be losing muscle. It's the body fat. So sometimes there can be mind games there as well. But overall, it's a very positive place because I'm seeing the right changes happen. So that will keep you on track. I'm also quite well practiced at just handling the negative thoughts and then asking myself where they've come from, dealing with them and getting rid of them and moving on. So I think that helps in prep as well a lot. Hope that answers that question. The next one is any cravings? No. So again, I don't want this stuff to come across as like, oh, I'm, invincible and no craving, blah, blah, blah. Like that couldn't be further from how I want this to come across. But no, again, it's because I chose to do this. So no, I don't have any cravings when people around me are eating cakes and ice creams and chocolates and, we're out in a super busy place and there's food going everywhere and people are coming up to you with freebies. Hey, do you want to try this? I'm like, nope. It doesn't affect me. I don't start sweating and I don't start thinking about it. And, I don't nearly go to do it and then remind myself, well, I just don't. I'm very good at switching off. So there hasn't been any cravings creep up on me because I take it so seriously. So like if you watch my other videos and my posts and pictures, also I do a lot of silly stuff and basically I just do a parody of myself. I make fun of myself quite a lot. But when it comes to what I hands-on do with my prep, because it doesn't affect anybody else, I take that so incredibly serious. So I just refuse to allow myself to have cravings. I just have found ways over the years, I suppose, in life and all sorts of how to turn these things off and stop them from kind of landing as they arrive. Any slip-ups? So I'm so happy to say not a single one. Every single thing that I've been asked to do, I've done and ticked the box since day one. Since day one, there's been no slip-ups. And that's super rewarding to me because then, whatever happens, I can walk away at the end of this prep and know that I did absolutely everything I could to the best of my ability. That's fantastic. And then also it's going to help me massively for prep next year and stuff and so on, going into more shows and even my off season. Next year will be my first off season coming out of being in show condition. So it's all going to be new and stuff going forward. So that's really good. So there's not been any slip ups. No. Another question I get asked a lot is, why do you have a coach? So the reason I keep looking at the phone is because there's a timer on and my memory is almost running out. So I want to make sure I get this video in. So I am a coach and I coach people, and if you've seen I don't advertise it much because the clients and the progress, it speaks for itself. People tend to reach out to me, which is a nice position to be. And they do well. I've had people win competitions, I've had people improve their places in competitions massively in a short space of time. 3 people with eating disorders, 2 overcame them with me. 1 had already overcome their eating disorder before coming with me, and we found new ways to get them to enjoy food in a different way. Also, just such a broad spectrum of clients. And also I got myself to my big size and all that kind of stuff, and I've got in shape for holidays and what have you. But I believe everybody should have a coach. If you're in some kind of sport, man, woman or child, I think you should have a coach. You need to do your research on who that coach is, but I think you should. I think it's invaluable to have somebody who has another set of experienced eyes, who can look at you from outside of your view, your peripheral, and they can agree with you and disagree with you and explain why. I also really like having a coach who's very similar to me in how they operate. And also it means I can just switch off. They send me what to do, and then I go away and do it. And that's it. I can just switch off and take care of business. And so that's why I have a coaching, but I think everybody should have one. High points. Well, the whole thing has been such an experience. The difficult times, the big wins, it's all been a massive experience. The whole thing is a high point for me. I love bodybuilding. So the whole thing, the difficult parts, the positive parts, everything. I'm trying to pick out specific things that I might be able to do. I'll tell you what's been really good. So I've always practiced posing in some way, and I've always had really good feedback on my posing from different people. I've helped other people pose, and then they give me good feedback on my posing instruction. But what I've really, really enjoyed is finding out that where I might have positioned myself in poses wasn't my limit. I've been able to open up my body in ways that I hadn't realized I could go. And it's just transformed some of the poses. So again, if you follow me on Instagram and stuff and you see my previous, I did a collage. If you see my previous side chest and my most recent side chest, which is still a work in progress, the difference is ridiculous. So that is becoming such a massive high point for me, like finding out these new things. It's an incredible journey is bodybuilding prep. But that's where we're up to now. I will do some more of these updates as I go through prep. Maybe not as long, maybe longer, maybe a different format or what have you, but keep the questions coming in because I really enjoy them and they make me think about things that maybe I've just done on autopilot. I like to stop and think about these things, so the questions are really good. Anything else you want to know, whatever it might be, pop it in the questions, give it a like and a share, follow all that stuff if you can, because it means a massive deal. And also this information might help you, it might help your friends, it might help people, whatever, so give it a share if you can. And I hope you enjoyed it, most of all, and thanks for watching. Peace out.